Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a test hands video, just using my Bystial Dogmatika deck profile that I just posted the other day. This is the same deck that I posted. The only thing I've just changed, as I mentioned in the video, is that Droll was not something I would be maining. So I've just swapped out for Nibiru. That's probably, it might not be the best pick, but it is a light monster, so you can use it with Chaos Space. And then in the extra deck, I've taken out the Atum and replaced it with Nightmare Cerberus, which in hindsight is what it should have been. But with all that being said, I'll get straight into the test hands. Now, there will be a couple of test hands that I just throw the dragon, Shadow Dragon here in, just to kind of show where it fits in, just to make that clear. I'm siding that in control matchups, so I'm keeping Schism in the control matchup. And because, Winder doesn't necessarily have much of an effect against a control deck, but Dragon gives the Shadow engine just that little bit more versatility so that you can use it to at least pop some back row as well. So we've got White Dragon, Wyverster, 1-for-1, Chaos Space, Nadir Servant, and Bystial Boldrake. So this hand is actually crazy good. This is obviously missing non-engine, so that's a problem, but this is a hand trap if it's needed, if it's possible, but otherwise this hand is really strong. We often find ourselves in positions where, if we have Chaos Space and 1-for-1, you usually have to decide which one you're going to kind of prioritize. But in this hand, because we've already got white, we can already Chaos Space pitch Boldrake, and this hand has everything it needs. So this is actually the full combo, so that's a pretty fitting first combo if I do say so myself. But we'll start with Chaos Space. We're going to pitch the Boldrake. And we're going to use this to grab the Lubellion. So what we want to kind of go full combo is access to Seal, which we have here in white, Lubellion, which we have here, and Nadir Servant. So this is the full 3-card combo that we kind of have access to here. Yeah, so from here, the only downside to this little combo here is that we are going to lose Boldrake as our one-of resource, but the rest of the hand is insane, so we'll take those. We'll use Lubellion here just because we can kind of, pretend like we have Gamma in hand. And with Lubellion, we'll grab Magnemite. All right, now we can start playing. So we'll summon white by banishing the Boldrake. We'll link it off into Pisty. So as I said in one of my previous videos, we go for Pisty first. Going second, I would go into Striker Dragon. That was one misplay I did make at locals the other day. I went into a Pisty first where I really should have gone Striker. Still ended up winning, so it didn't come back to bite me that hard, but it was definitely a misplay on my part. So white's going to search black Dragon Collet Step in here, and we can banish the white, summon the black, do the Chaos Space thing, put the white back, draw into a second Nadir Servant. That's fine, we'll just hang on to that. And now we can go Pisty and black into Hieratic Seal. Black's going to search white. From here, we can do either the Bystial play or the Nadir Servant play. Either one, in whichever order, is fine. The thing you've got to consider as well with this hand specifically, because we've had access to Seal plus Nadir Servant, if this is a blind game one, we don't know what our opponent's playing, we have to consider whether or not we want to go for the full Nadir Servant into Schism line, whether we just go Ecclesia into Fleur-de-Lis, because if we're playing against Kashtira, there's a good chance they've got an Entus in their extra deck. Obviously other decks will have Entus as well, potentially Labyrinth, Drytron as well. So we just got to be really mindful about doing the Maximus line with Nadir Servant, but we'll pretend like we know what our opponent is playing at this point, just to kind of show it off, because you just don't want Entus popping Hieratic Seal. That's just really rough. So we'll go Magnemite. We can banish the Pisty. We'll keep black in there because we can. We're going to set up Regained with this hand here, and so we'll be able to kind of get an endless loop of black and white dragons going. We'll sub the Magnemite out for Lubellion, use the Libellion effect, and we're going to go Regained. So being able to get Regained here is really nice because the Nadir's Servant is going to give us access to the Beast. We'll go Nadir's Servant next, and we'll send the Apkallone to the graveyard. We'll add the Ecclesia, and then we'll get Apkallone's effect to add Schism, and we can simply discard Schism. Then we can special the Ecclesia. We can get the Ecclesia's effect to grab Maximus. We can summon the Maximus by banishing the Apkallone. And now we can get Regained to put Apkallone back and draw a card to save it. Nice. Then we can use Maximus's second effect, and we will send the Construct as well as the Albion. Now, in this hand specifically, we're not going to be able to access Titaniclad in this combo. This is where opening any of the kind of Dogmatika monsters changes things up. Also, if we opened a Regained or a Beast, we wouldn't have to send Albion. So that's why I kind of like having the Titaniclad here. So even though these are all one-offs that can be accessed through Nadir's Servant, opening one of them isn't bad because we can always kind of access whatever we're missing by opening one. So even though it feels like we're opening a brick as such, it's not actually a brick, and it just actually allows us to kind of extend that a little bit further. But in this case, because we don't have Beast, we'll go Albion. But you're choosing between setting Beast or searching Fleur-de-Lis. So, I mean, you can certainly make that choice yourself based on what you think your opponent's playing or whatever like that. So, yeah, so we'll go Albion. Here, with Construct, Construct is going to add back the Schism, and then we can set the Schism, and we can end our turn. Yeah, so we've got 4 in hand. We're going to get the end phase search of Magnamut, and we will grab the Druisworm here. Because we've got Druisworm, and then we're also going to get Albion in the end phase to set our branded Beast. We'll just pretend that is set for now. So with our hand here, we've obviously, this is the full combo. We've got 5 cards in hand. Druis searched, plus, you know, we had 2 draws along the way. Beast, Regain, Schism all set up. So then going into our opponent's turn, we're obviously going to have access to Schism. We're going to have access to Regained summoning back Magnamut, which is really cool because then we get to kind of, we can use Seal to summon back something else. Now, something else that happens quite commonly is obviously evenly matched as a thing at the moment. So when they go into the battle phase, we can kind of use a lot of our cards that we have access to here. So well, the main one actually just being Hieratic Seal. So one thing, if we're going into, you know, if my opponent goes going into battle phase, in the battle phase, I'm going to use Hieratic Seal, tributing itself to bounce back. Usually the Libellion is what I choose to add back. But I guess you could potentially add back something like a Regained is pretty good too. But I like adding back Libellion, and then I get Hieratic Seal to summon a Magnamut, and then I let my opponent go to town with the evenly matched, and they would obviously banish everything, and we would just hang on to Schism just because Winder is pretty strong. And then hang on to that. We've obviously still got the Druis, the Libellion for follow-up. We've got a full hand of cards, and we're getting an end phase search with Magnamut as well, so we can kind of search whatever we'd be missing in this hand. And we're probably going to grab Levy in here because that's just going to help us push for lethal there on the next turn. But yes, that was the turn 1 combo. So just to quickly clarify what that looked like again, I'll just quickly rebuild that, just to kind of, I guess, show what we had. I did the other way around. So Regain to summon back Magnamut, really strong. Beast obviously is an interruption, using the Libellion or even the Druisworm. So we can Beast, tribute Druisworm. Is really cool because it deals with 2 things. Schism summons out Winder. These are just bodies at this point. They just sit there. We can link them off in the next turn to kind of push, and we just link Climb into access to try and kill our opponent at that point. Once the Winder goes to graveyard, because we have to use Schism to banish the Construct, obviously we don't have really access to re-summon the Apkallone. but in the siding process, we have dragon. So hypothetically, let's just kind of rewind it a little bit. Instead of sending construct to add back schism, we're going to pretend we're playing against a back row opponent. We're going to send the winder, and the winder adds back the schism. The up clone was banished, was put back, we drew a card with the regained. So now going into our, and the dragon's in the deck somewhere. So then if this was a back row matchup, schism can banish winder, but it can then also banish one of our light monsters off field to summon out construct. And then we get construct effect to send the dragon to pop a card. And then because we've regained put back Apgalone, going into the next turn, we still get access to schism again. You know, we can use schism with dragon and Apgalone, construct to summon out the Apgalone. So it just kind of gives you that little bit extra mileage with the schism. But yeah, that was a great first hand. Obviously it was missing some going second cards. So if we were going second, it was going to be a bit more challenging. We had a lot of engine though, so depending on what our opponent has, we can push a little bit. Obviously for something like a Rise Heart pass, we're probably not beating that because we did rely on the graveyard a little bit with that. I'll grab the dragon out just so we're not drawing it. I'll put that to the side now. I was just showing what we do with the dragon. Just prioritizing someone construct, so construct can then send the dragon. Okay, second test hand, we've got Nadir Servant, white, Nadir Servant. Oh, that's almost the same hand. Except in this hand though specifically, we actually don't have a way to really play with these cards. These cards are all just going to sit and do nothing. So it's actually just going to be Nadir Servant. So all we're going to do with this hand is use Nadir Servant to get into Schism Pass. We're not going to set Beast or Regained with the Albion in this hand. What we would do is hang on to the Albion in the extra deck and just go for the Titanic Lads. So it's just going to end on the Ecclesia, the Maximus, the Schism set, and we'll have searched a Fleur-de-Lis. So unfortunate. I mean, that hand was really close to being good. Funny that it had nearly all the same cards as the first hand. We'll try and shuffle it just that little bit better. And we'll go into another test hand. So we've got Seifert, Impermanence, Gamma, Levianeer, and Schism. So obviously the Schism is doing nothing. The Levy, we're probably not going to be able to do anything with that either. But this hand is fine. Going second, we've got Imperm Gamma, which is solid. Seifert, we're just going to really be using the Seifert to get up into Seal Pass. Yes, we could use Seifert to throw Levy and grab the Bystial Rebellion, but it's not going to really get us very far. So just using Seifert, Seal Pass, backed up by Imperm, Gamma if all goes wrong, is not terrible. And then obviously on the crackback, we've got Levy. We'll have a Magnum Search with the Seal, and we get our engine kind of rolling a bit more there. So pretty much with this deck, if you can survive turn one, depending on how strong your end board is, so if it's just Seal Pass, if you can get to turn two, to your turn three, then you generally have a lot of follow-up to kind of play the game a lot more fluidly than just Seal Pass, potentially leading to OTK, or just, you know, setting up a grind game where you're in a much better position. So for this one, Imperm, Fleur-de-Lis, Gamma, Chaos Space, and Maximus. All right, so we'll play this one out. Again, we're not going to really have access. We don't have access to the Bystial portion of the deck here, but that's okay. We're going to have Seal, and we will actually get access to the Dogmatika stuff here. So we'll go Chaos Space. We'll have to pitch Gamma. Obviously, this is, you know, very ashable, and being able to hold Gamma is nice. If we had the right hand, we could do it. There's an argument for Imperm being a Veiler, but I think Imperm's just ultimately better. And we just take our losses at this point. If we get ashed, obviously we are not having a good time, but it's my test hand, so we didn't get ashed. We'll just keep playing. We can summon the black, banish the Gamma, blink off, go for Pisty, grab white, we'll do the play. So banish the black to summon the white. Chaos Space, put back black, draw a card. Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness, we're just that good. Link off into Erratic Seal, and we'll get white to search black. Then, we can go Libellion, grab Magnamut. In this kind of example here, we might just wait, because obviously we're gonna use Maximus to banish the Pisty. But we'll summon the Maximus by banishing the Pisty, and we'll use the Maximus's effect, and we will send App Cologne, because obviously we're going to be one body short, but we can just use the black as a discard, or even the Imperm as discard if we'd rather hold the black as the follow-up. But we'll send App Cologne, and we don't need to send Titanic Lad in this instance because we've already opened Fleur-de-Lis, so the Ecclesia can just sit in deck, it's not doing anything anymore for us. We'll send Albion. So we'll send both of those. We'll get App Cologne's effect to grab Winder. We're getting to Winder. We'll grab Schism, and we can just choose what we're going to pitch at this point, black or Imperm. Because we're going to kind of be having we're going to have the full end board, we might keep the black as follow-up, and we'll discard the Imperm. Then we can go for Magnamut, and we are going to have to lose the white dragon, it seems. We need to hang on to the App Cologne. So we'll banish white to summon Magnamut, declare Magnamut, tag up for Libellion, use Libellion to grab Regained. Which I have passed. And from there, I know what I obviously didn't do was, well, we could have actually waited on Maximus, because I think in the end we're always going to be banishing white. So what we would have done that differently. We should have done the Bystial side first, set it Regained, Maximus. Well, the only difference would be is Maximus banishes Pisty to summon, and the Pisty can go back with draw a card. So we'll pretend we did the right way. We drew Nadir Servant. We'll hang on to that, because going into turn 3, this can still grab Ecclesia, or you can grab back a Fleur-de-Lis or a Maximus or whatever. But it's also going to send Entis, so that's really nice. We can set the Schism, and of course in the end phase, Albion will set Beast. So we still ended up going kind of that full combo there. We'll get end phase Beast, and we'll also get end phase Magnamut search Druis, and we are sitting very pretty. So we set up everything that's the full combo again. Can't complain with that. And this time we've got the Fleur-de-Lis to kind of back it up. So this is why I say, like, drawing a piece like this doesn't, mean terrible things, especially when it just means that you can kind of go further. Now, obviously, we didn't have Nadir Servant in that example, but it kind of just shows that, by having them, it's not terrible. Okay, next one we have Imperm, Gamma, Baldric, Druisworm. All right, obviously this is just 5 hand traps. If we're playing against a deck that gets hurt by Bystials, happy days, but we're passing on nothing here. We'll just end our turn and, hope that we draw something good going into it. Nope. So that will happen when you're playing. I mean, we're not even playing that many Bystials, so it's unfortunate to draw the 2 1-offs there. It is what it is. I guess one thing that we could consider, no, it's actually not even that good. I was going to say, if the Imperms were Veilers, then, we could have a guaranteed light target that we could banish with the Bystial, but it's not that good. All right, Nadir Servant, Imperm, Nibiru, Ash, and Magnamut. So this is totally fine. This is a hand we can kind of get behind. We've got 3 hand traps, so we're very well insulated against our opponent, whatever they're playing, depending on what it is. Magnamut kind of a hand trap depending on what the matchup is, but this is just going to be using the Deer Servant to set up the Winder, of course, and then at some point we can use Magnamut, end phase search of Magnamut. We're not going to really grab a Bystial because there's no Bystial that just gives us that immediate value necessarily. We also don't have access to Seal, so probably off the Magnamut there we grab something that's going to give us some good follow-up on the next turn, like a Lubellion or a Safer. Even a Black Metal Dragon wouldn't be terrible, but probably just grabbing one of these in the end phase just so that we've got some kind of guaranteed follow-up would be the way to go with that one. Chaos Space, Impermanence, Lubellion, and Safer. So this is just kind of the standard play with without the Nadir cards, the Dogmatika cards. So we could go Chaos Space. We can use a Lubellion first. We'll grab Magnamut. We can go Chaos Space, pitch a Lubellion. Do we even pitch Lubellion? We could pitch Safer. The Safer's not necessarily giving us much. Actually, we'll hold the Safer. We'll pitch Lubellion, because if they Ash Chaos Space, then at least we still have the play with Safer. So we'll pitch the Lubellion there. Grab Black. And now obviously the Safer's kind of just going to sit a little bit dead, but it's fine. So we'll go Black by banishing a Lubellion, link into the Pisty, grab White Dragon, banish Black, summon White, Chaos Space, put back Black, draw into the third Lubellion, why not? Link into Erratic Seal, grab Black, and then we can summon Magnamut by banishing the Pisty, turn it into Lubellion. Lubellion's probably just going to put Beast down. Obviously we declare Magnamut. Put down Beast. We'll set Imperm. You could also make an argument to hold it if all else is going badly. Sometimes I hold the Imperms as well, just, obviously if we get even lead, there's an argument for holding it. But the end board already is kind of smaller in this test hand here. End phase, we'll grab Druis. Yeah, and depending on the matchup, you can certainly grab Boldrake. Boldrake is still a solid interruption as well. In this one, we're going to be prioritizing Seal to bring out a Magnamut, just to kind of give us that little bit more follow-up. Obviously, we do have Safer. We've got the Black again. Going into the next turn, we wouldn't be looking to banish White straight away. We'd want to kind of set up Regained before we start banishing White with Black, because that way we can kind of loop them at that little bit longer and get that resource, the mileage going with the Black and White there. And you can loop them kind of continuously as long as Regain's on the field. But yeah, that will do it for this video. Couple of bad hands, obviously, but the bad hands in this deck are usually just full of non-engine. So if you depending on what you're top decking, if you can keep your opponent off playing, maybe you can draw your way out of it. This deck does have one card combos that let it go, like Nadir Servant, like a Safer or a Red MD, the Black Metal Dragon. So it does have plays that can kind of get you going with just one card. But otherwise, that is the test hand video for the Bystial Dogmatika deck. I hope you enjoyed it. And certainly I would suggest that if you haven't given this deck a go, give it a go. It plays really nicely and it feels really strong to play. But otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one.